Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/PettyRevenge. In today's episode, shaming a passive-aggressive dude. Surprising judgmental people. Wanna cut in front of a semi-truck dangerously? Okay. Hope you like waiting. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Shaming a passive-aggressive dude. My 30th grandfather passed away a few days ago, and I was attending the funeral. I drove myself back home but needed to make a few stops to get the basics for the week. So I stopped at a local grocery store at like 10 at night and started just doing basic shopping. As I stared at the 5 different varieties of apples, I look up as a cart goes behind me, bumping into me a little. Not enough to be seen as on purpose, just enough to get my attention. Standing before me is a man clearly in the early boomer category. I move to the side and mutter an "excuse me," thinking he would also like to stare at the ridiculous price of Honeycrisp apples. Nope, of course not. He looks at me for a bit too long before saying "nice dress." Bit early for Halloween, though. You'd look better in color. Well, that's a new one. I've got chronic RBF, so I've gotten the "you should smile" comment a handful of times. I look him dead in the eyes with an exhausted expression that only someone who's been up since 4 a.m. to make a 4-hour drive for a funeral could have. I'll admit, I was too tired to even think that this was a clever retort. I was just being bluntly honest when I replied, I was just at a family member's funeral. He was silent for a bit too long, as if waiting for a punchline. He laughed awkwardly, and I continued to stare at him with a blank expression that Wednesday Addams would be proud of. Eventually, he muttered an "oh, shit, sorry" and shuffled off like an ashamed bipedal slug. Not the greatest revenge in the world, but it definitely made my day a little better. Surprising judgmental people. Background first, I live in a country where there are not a lot of people where I'm from, specifically, not a lot of people who has the same mother tongue as me. Also, I look like I'm from my country, but I don't look typically like I'm from my specific state, so people assume I don't speak or understand said language. So I was taking the metro back home. I was carrying a heavy bag, but I had to stand because there were no empty seats. I realized there was a young couple seated near me speaking in my mother tongue, so I was pretty delighted about it until I heard what they were saying. They were really loud and rudely judging everyone in my mother tongue. They even made a few comments about my tight green shirt. I'm from a rather conservative culture, and I've seen this happen before. I've seen family members talk about people badly in our mother tongue in front of them because they're confident nobody around could understand them, and I've always gotten into fights about this with these relatives for it. I'd always lose the fight because I was a kid to them and they genuinely believe that this was something innocent. So here I was, listening to this nonsense again, but this time as an adult in a foreign land. I didn't want to be abrasive, and I was far too awkward and introverted to call them out to their face, but I was furious. I needed to be subtle. So, I waited for a few more stops, continued listening to them talk and giggle some more. Waited till the people next to them got up and left, and then I sat down a seat away from the wife. I turned to her and in our language asked her, "Can I put my bag here?" and they both went silent. Her husband's soul seemed to have left his body, and she turned red, became silent for a while, and then started small talk in a very demure way because she was shocked I could speak mother tongue. The husband couldn't look at me or say a word for the longest time, and when he finally did, he spoke like he was terrified of me. Finally, right before they got off the metro, she turned to him and whispered, "I didn't expect that," in our mother tongue, turned to me, said some pleasantries and left. I felt really accomplished that I finally got to get someone somewhere in the world think twice before being mean, and I did it without ever being confrontational. Wanna cut in front of a semi-truck dangerously? Okay. Hope you like waiting. I work in traffic control, I am not an English major and I am typing this out on my phone. Unless you are a part of district court, don't judge me. LOL. Anyways, I work in traffic control as a TCP. On day of working a grueling 10 to 12 hours, on my feet I see this truck coming up over the bypass bridge and I make a call down to the radio asking to send it. Since we are single landing alternating, I am told to hold the truck. Normally big trucks like 18-wheelers, I let roll though because it's like stopping a train. It's a good thing I did stop the truck. Out of nowhere this lime green sports Subaru comes over the overpass, cuts off the truck, swerves back into the lane, nearly missing oncoming traffic. The truck laid down on his horn and the guy flipped him the bird as he was coming closer to me. As he pulled up to me, he looked at me as if I slashed his tires. I can't or don't remember what was said, but the lineup of cars behind me was long. So I had an idea. The cars behind the truck were about getting up to 10 cars. This part is dangerous, because he could have hit me with his car. So when I got an all clear the send, I got close to the lime green snotball and said, just wait a few minutes, the truck needs to go first. And waved the truck and 10 cars through. The look on this guy's face was priceless. Like him trying to get somewhere fast was just now gone. The best part, one was only allowed to send 10 cars through each cycle. He had to wait until the next cycle before he could go. After 10 minutes of waiting, he got to go. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.